Good morning, loves. Today it is January 25th, and today I'm going to be planting onions. I'm going to be using this type. It's a red onion type. It's a large glossy red onion. Now the packaging says plant in spring after the frost in a sunny spot, or plant them in autumn. But if you've watched my videos of this year so far, you know that I'm trying to be really early with my crops. So I get more out of the harvest. It's kind of like an experiment I'm doing. I'm not even sure if it's gonna work, but I'm going to start them off in the house and keep them inside for probably like a month. And after the weather outside is appropriate for it, I will be replacing them into our garden bed outside. Now I have already prepared my soil mix. I just grabbed 2 of these containers and I filled them up with soil. This is the soil that we have in our garden bed, so if you remember our last year's video on it, you know what the composition is of it. It's just soil with a little bit more sand than usual because that's just how we like it. Now what I'm going to do, these are already like small starter onions. I'm going to space them out like 10 centimeters each, and I'm going to dig them in a little bit. That way they won't be too close together, and they do have space to like grow into a bigger bulb that way. You're supposed to plant onions like this because this pointy part is where the plant's going to sprout from, and the roots are supposed to go downwards like almost every plant. So I'm just going to section out my containers and then I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm just going to flatten the soil out a little bit. I'm also breaking up a lot of the bigger clumps. We've not yet fertilized the ground because it's winter right now, but that's fine for onions because onions don't like their ground too sour. So as you can see, I'm just using a chopstick, and with the chopstick I'm going to space out where every plant is going to go. So I'm digging them in almost as deep as this goes, but I'm leaving some space so the root can grow. So about 10 centimeters apart. After digging the holes, I'm going to place them upright, and then I'm going to cover them with soil. When covering them up, I am not like pressing down on the soil too much because that way it will be harder for them to reach the surface. As some of you know, we are also currently growing garlic this way, and I can actually show you that. You can see right there. We planted that garlic in, I think I want to say October. And that's actually Max's little project. He likes doing that. So I figured we can do the same for onions because they are like similar in growth and soil preferences. Now I just want to say quickly that this is the first time I'm doing this. It's the first time I'm planting them early. So I'm excited to see if this actually works. And if you are interested in this little experiment, then subscribe because then you'll get notified when I upload an update. I will be uploading an update in, I'm thinking 2 weeks, maybe a little later, just because I actually do want to see some result before I upload them. And I think in 2 weeks we will actually see some green going on. Next up, I am going to put a little mulch on top, and that's just so they won't dry out when I forget to water them. So I'm just going to use, this is the bedding that we use for our chickens and our rabbits. But you can use any kind of mulch. I've seen people use like coconut husk. Sometimes you can use like smaller wood chips. In some instances you can also just use leaves or anything. It is just there to cover up the soil so that the water won't evaporate out of the soil as quickly. And I'm just spreading it out all over the container, covering every last bit of soil. As you could see, we also did it with the garlic. I know that some people are a little hesitant on doing this because they won't know if the plant will be able to like grow through the mulch. We also did this to the garlic before they were even sprouted. We mulched it right after planting those. So we know that they can get through this kind of mulch. So I'm just covering everything just like that. And because I got this soil from outside just now, it is quite wet. So I'm not going to water it just yet. I'm going to place them in our hallway. For the time that they'll be inside, they will be here. This is our hallway at our front door. I'm going to place them on top of this little freezer that we have. Because this is quite close to a window, which means that they will get plenty of light to sprout. So this is where they will be for the upcoming month or month and a half. Just like our potatoes, when it will be warm enough outside, we will place them in the garden beds outside. But before that, they are going to stay right here. But with that being said, I'm going to end off this video right now. Please subscribe because it really helps out my channel and I appreciate you so much for doing so. But with that all being said, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye!